My name is Ashley, and this is An Album a Day, an English language podcast promoting commentary on South Korean pop music. This podcast covers mainstream, indie, and some underground artists within the scene and provides both factual and opinionated K-pop commentary. The biggest benefit to sharing my thoughts this way is that it will hopefully expose you to more great music and exploration of your own. It's November 2014, and Apink are back with a new look, but has that look aligned with the aging of their sound? We'll explore this with 2014's Pink Love and 2015's Pink Memory right after the drop.
You're tuned into An Album a Day. Show start.
Hey y'all, I am struggling. Ooh. My voice is extra husky today because I am extra congested. So I don't foresee this being a very long episode, but we are doing what needs to be done. Yes, we have an episode 1 week, and then on the Substack, if you're not over there, come on now. On the Substack, we always have an album review. This keeps me from feeling like I'm missing multitudes of music since I'm going in alphabetical order. Please check that out. I'll make sure to put a link in the details of this episode. But let's get into what's going on here. There will be times where I will sound super clear and then sound a scorching, revolting, hot mess. And it's because I can't breathe. Okay, so we're going to do the best that we can. We're looking at November 2014 at this point. Pink Love is the album, so the members of the group are between the ages of 18 and 23 at this point. So if you've got some young adults in the mix, they absolutely want to show a different side of themselves, and the album cover shows that completely. This is an EP, and on the album cover they have this lovely cream and tan or white and khaki look going on, and it's not overtly sexual or anything of the sort, but they look older, and it's a very nice feminine touch, especially for one of the videos for the title track, Honest to Goodness. Hasn't really aged with them in terms of sound, and when it dropped, it debuted at number 1 on South Korea's Gaon album chart, and then the lead single from this, Love, spelled L-U-V, it made its debut at number 2 on the Gaon digital chart and stayed there for 2 weeks. That's a good little moment, especially when it's so close to award season when they drop this. That song alone sold 1.4 million copies. It was their first Triple Crown win. They had been in the game at this point for a while, long enough to see a lot of groups kind of surpass them, but they proved themselves in 2014. Let's just be real. The song sold, quote, 1,490,824 copies and scored Apink's first 3 Triple Crown wins in the 3 major music shows: The Show, Music Horror, and Inkigayo. They were the first girl group to achieve this, end quote. Historic! History makers. There's so much history that is regularly made by South Korean artists, but this was an absolute first. And that's quite shocking when you think of who some of their seniors were at this point in time. So yeah, it was a really big deal. The album had technically 5 tracks. And then if you want to be, real specific, then it's 6 because Love, the instrumental version of it, was added on. But then they ended up releasing a bonus track as well that had Good Morning Baby and My Darling on there. So you had double sidekick involved with one of those. And then My Darling was done by Brave Brothers. We are only talking about the original release of it, not the bonus track that was available on the CD. Bonus tracks. I just said 2, then said 1. I am struggling with singular and plural. Sorry, my nose, y'all. Okay. So with Love, like I said, the video for Love is very feminine, very lovely. The song is very catchy in one's ear, but it's about a breakup. So you've got them really asking, hey, do you remember? Like, are you still feel the same way about me? No? We done? Oh, but they look so pretty while they're saying it. A little pained from time to time as they sit out in nature and just look gorgeous. Their outfit that I remember the most is the pink tops with the black skinny jeans, perhaps, or maybe they're just slacks, just really nice pants, but they're all very uniform. They look very, very lovely. They really do. Although I know these songs, at the time, I still didn't quite know how to place musicality with particular groups. So in 2014, I was still not new to this anymore, but definitely still not checking for them as hard as I was when the 2015 album that we'll be talking about next dropped. For the song Wannabe, it's clear that the production style has advanced. It doesn't sound like what the previous albums sounded like at all. And that's because there's a greater sonic expression of the sounds. Like there's a warmth to it. It's really hard for me to explain it. Cheezo Pete's. It sounds extremely warm. There is not any airiness to how it covers itself in one's speakers. There's no buzz, no heavy bass or anything, but it sounds very full, extremely robust music without it being very agitating. Then you get to the song Secret, and we're not going to screw this up like we did the last episode, okay? It's Stargate. The Norwegian record production and songwriting duo, that Stargate sound, it is all over the song Secret. And emulation or duplication or attempts thereof are often to be considered as forms of flattery, but I don't really know if it's super flattering if everybody and their mama was doing it and none of them were paying for Stargate. So the lyrics and music for that were done by someone named Lee Won-hee, and that's not your style, but there's plenty of people, if you go on YouTube and you can put a beat and you'll see something called a type beat. That's what they were doing then. They were making a beat that would be similar to the production styles of someone else. Following that is I'm Not Your Angel. I'm sorry, I'm Not An Angel. An Angel. Chongsaga Anya. It sounds like their roots from the previous albums, or at bare minimum, it sounds like some shit you'd hear on an OST montage. And I feel like OSTs now play the songs so much that it makes you blatantly hate them. I feel like this could have fallen into that gap. Once Upon a Time, absolutely their most unique sounding song on the project thus far. Not a lot of live instrumentation, but enough to be like, oh, okay, we doing something a little different. Yeah, you know? So they had that. And then July 16th, 2015, they came with Pink Memory. This is when they fully came onto my radar, because this album was the time that they did a tour, and that was through, oh my gosh, what did they used to be called? Jazzy Group. Oh, Jazzy Group used to keep me so involved in press opportunities. The memories, it was so nice. That was the time. July 2015, they dropped the track Remember. And I just remember before it became my work assignment, the video would come on YouTube Shuffle frequently. And I'd see these women with this orangey colored hair and they all looking at the camera and whatnot. And they on a boat. And I'm like, this ain't for me. I keep saying this ain't for me, but I did listen to this album. I really did. And it did not do the same impactful things as Pink Love in terms of amassed insane numbers for sales and whatnot, but it set a tone that they were not trying to do the same things that they did before, but it kept getting thrown upon them. Remember, Shin Sadong Tiger was at the helm for that, and it's summery and whatnot, but I think the standout for me is Perfume, which is the second track. And Perfume is really in that girls' generation lane in terms of the energy. There's more harmony play that goes on this album, particularly on Attracted to You, which is track 3. So there's technically there's 8 tracks. Technically 9. Well, 8, 9. But of course, they add the instrumental of their mainstay. So Remember has an instrumental on here for a whopping 10. So it puts it at 36 minutes worth of listening. So this is a full-fledged LP. This is their second. Yes, I know they released others. Yes, we have talked about this before, how many albums, EPs, and LPs, and all blah, 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 blah. Harmony and R&B started to really take over in their sound. And I'm not saying the stereotypical things of ad-libs and runs and whatnot, but Attracted to You shows a lot of harmony, a lot of vocal flair and R&B moments down to the stereotypical woo at the beginning of the song. Deja Vu thereafter continues with that R&B. Then there's a track, it's called Pedal. It's number 5. This is not to discredit talking about anything else on this album, but this is the one that had me the most stressed out. I'm listening to it and I can hear that there's a slower tempo. It's a gentler arrangement than typical high dance oriented songs that they have had the capacity to do before. And I kept saying, okay, is this rockabilly? No. Is this classic rock? No. Is this Americana? No. These are all different music genres that I was trying so hard to shove upon this song. And that's within the 1950s and 1960s. I was a couple decades too far ahead. I needed to go back to the 40s. Even though the tempo is not the same, the way that the song moves reminds me a lot of like Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy styling. Not the same rhythm, but the same sonic feeling. I'm having such a time trying to explain this. It's retro. Let's make it simple and then we can get complex. It's retro. It's definitely mid 20th century in terms of the Western sound. It's certainly not Americana because it ain't a guitar in sight to really amplify that, no pun intended in terms of the amp, but it's swing era. It's jazz influence. So 1940s could definitely fall within this. And I think this is not just something that's particular to them. Like I know that IU and even Orange Caramel have played around with this. And Apink has such a pure and classic look and image that's blazoned upon them that they were trying their best to push against with this album. This kind of fits. I just want to say it's a retro K-pop ballad with 1950s traditional pop and jazz influences. That's what I was really trying to say while I was fighting for my life to find the words. Let's get to it. K-pop fans, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being essential listening and 1 not worth mentioning, the A3Day rating for Pink Love is a 4 and Pink Memory is a 4. Both of these albums are pretty good. There's greater endurance for Pink Memory than it is Pink Love, but I'm kind of eager to get past the sound that they are somewhat trapped in because this is what their label says succeeds, and it's not making enough cushion for these women to grow up. Please give it a listen nonetheless. My taste is not the final say on anything in music, and I look forward to hearing new opinions. Bye, y'all.